Hey everyone, back again to do another analysis, focus, and reviews of the week of August from date 4th to date 8th. Yeah, so this is JSMFX. Welcome back for another analysis, reviews, and focus. I'm not going to waste more time. If you want, you can just go there to my description box and show some support for the brother. If not, it's okay. Let's proceed with the learning and also checking out on the things that we need to look out for this weekend coming in. Sorry, next week. So let's start off with Euro USD. Like I said before in my previous video, I won't be looking at very many pairs because I have been studying, or rather learning, getting my way about the pairs that I've been, involved with. And I came to realize that I am only conversant with two pairs, which I streamed down to Euro USD and USD CHF. So we are only going to look at those two pairs. So if you expecting me to do gold or those other, I don't know, USD card and stuff, sorry for that. My apologies. But I look at Euro USD and the USD CHF because they go the opposite way. Always they go opposite way. I mean, 99.9%, even in the lower time frames. If one is going up, the other one automatically does go down. Anyway, so let's just start over with the weekly. Now still at the same supply that we saw here, price came to. We've also had a change of character right there, which happens to be the daily. We'll look at that in a second. We see that we had a return, okay, like that to the demand, and then we had an up move to that supply which was left, and also they wanted to just take out liquidity from these highs, and then from there we caused a change of character by breaking that low. Although it's with the week, I know right now you don't see clearly. I'll remove the arrow to show you, but because they broke that with the week, we have an opportunity, or rather a way to say that this would be one of the signals to give us that, to show us that we could be changing direction from this supply mitigation. So maybe with this bullish candle, we might have maybe seen enough of the pullback to also this demand, sorry, this supply, and now maybe we could be ready to continue to the downside. So if I'm expecting, if we see such kind of a move that is to the downside, then I'll be expecting at least for price to come to this demand, this one of them, or rather this one also, because this was another one that was left before the change of character of on the daily here, and also on the weekly from here. I've not drawn on that because I don't normally look at higher time frames that much. So that's just an analysis, or rather the focus of how I'm expecting for it to happen. But of course, that will take a long time. So let's not bother ourselves about that. What I can only say is that if this low gets broken and we have a candle close below it, below this low, then now that I'll be very much contented and also confirm that we could be now changing direction to the downside. So the daily, excuse me. So the daily, let me just change this liquidity line to 4 hour only. So from the daily, we see that we had low there that broke the high right there. Then we had another return which actually pushed price up to the upwards, to the upside, which caused the mitigation of that higher time frame, which was the weekly. Then we had the return to that demand. It wasn't that deep after Trump and all the news that induced people to buy, building that sell side liquidity. Then we saw another drop down, which caused a change of character, especially in the daily. And yeah, mitigating also this demand here that was left. And it's actually a flip zone from this supply. I'll draw on it for you to see. And then we see the upward move to this kind of whole buy to sell range, this one, and then now we flipped against it to break that high. So from here now, for me, i I can say yes, we could, okay, the guys could want to push price lower, or maybe continue to the upside. So whatever is happening right now, for me, I just see it's a range. It's just a range that's going on. And also it wants to build liquidity. Okay, it wants to build more liquidity, maybe for the news ahead. So it wants to build more liquidity before they, decide on which direction to go next. Because where it is right now, we can't really be sure. Price has already pulled back to the 50% equilibrium and yeah, touched it. So this also could also signal for us that it still wants to go up. So it's kind of unpredictable for me right now, but what I'm focusing on is at least going into the lower time frames, I'll be expecting maybe price to continue dumping either to this demand. Let me change color daily, or maybe this one. Okay, so maybe from here I'll be wanting to see some few reaction from that point before maybe looking to get or have any suggestions to any side. Okay, and also let's not forget it might also breach all those demands, to take out all the liquidity, because you see there's this low, there are these double tops, double bottoms. Okay, so maybe they would want to also go in that and also come in deeper, cause the price to go deeper below the 50% equilibrium before maybe continue to the upside or maybe breaking the low. So anything can happen in the market. 4 hour, 4 hour is a bit clear. 4 hour is a bit clear for me. Still not really sure about the range that we are in right now, especially right here. But what I know is with the NFP, we had a move to the upside. I don't know what's going on with my PC. Anyway, what we see is we had this move to the upside. I really don't know what's going on with my PC. Anyway, I don't know. It doesn't want to draw. I guess it's the internet or something. Anyway, so it went up, okay, with the NFP, and then it ranged around here, causing that pennant shape or the wedge. I don't know what those trend line guys usually call it, but for me, I see it as a pennant. Then broke to the downside. Now this downward move, I thought now this would be the pullback to at least this demand before it goes up. But as you can see, price went back up and then ranged a little bit and then went up again. So meaning all these lows that are being created right now could be liquidity that are being targeted. And why are they being targeted? Because when you reach here, we see we had a pullback and then we had a move to the upside, and then we had move to the downside, breaking this low, so causing a change of character. In this change of character, we see that price has been ranging, going up and down, not breaking this high or this low. So in this range, so much drama is really happening right now. I won't say much, but what I can only ascertain as of now is in this buy to sell range, the big one, as you can see, we I don't know, I think it's the internet. In this buy to sell range that you see, the brown one, this one here right now, okay, price has not touched it. Okay, yes, it went up and then it caused a change of character. So for me, if you ask me, these guys have given us a change of character, has given us the return to this supply, which is very good. So everything is set. Anyone is able or seeing the possibility of sells. But let's not forget, we still have this buy to sell range, and we also have this supply that we could be waiting or maybe expecting price to touch. So anything can happen because of this range. They're just building liquidity. For me, I think I'll just let the price play out, say on Monday, and see which direction it really wants to go. If it does break this low of this candle, then I'll be looking to. I wish my internet would just be okay, because it's really disturbing me. Anyway, so causing so many inconveniences. So in this range, if it does break this low, maybe come down like that, and then I'll be looking for any supplies here that would have been left, and then take that opportunity to go to the downside, targeting this liquidity, this one here and this one here, especially here. Okay, so we have so many sell side liquidity, around here, here, and here. Maybe that would be also one signal that the sales could, start because of this change of character. Um, Also, if it does break this high, I pray that if it does break this high, then it doesn't go as far as this supply. Okay, so maybe it breaks that high a little bit just to touch the buy to sell range, this one. Then I'll be looking, if it does that before touching here, then I'll be looking for any returns to demand areas and then take a buy to this supply. So anything can happen. Stay tuned if you want us to do this together and follow up on every move and step. Let me know in my inbox. Also, you can check my link in the description box, where I'll be leaving my link to Telegram, where you can join for free. And yeah, do the follow-ups every day on what we actually do and how we trade. So yes, so I think that's the 4 hour analysis and forecast that I'll be expecting to look at. So let's now jump into the real deal. That's a 15-minute time frame analysis. Let us check on it and see what we have in store. So when was this? We have August 3rd. So yes, I think we are here, somewhere around here. So it wasn't a good week for me, to be very honest, because things got very, very difficult to actually see or get the true trades that I was expecting. Okay. If you check very clearly, yes, we have switched to the uptrend, but if you check very clearly, we had the change of character here, and then we had multiple, okay, multiple returns to that supply, okay, before they went down. So when they came down to this demand right here, okay, I took that trade right there, but as you can see, it didn't go very far, and yeah, it was just another bad day, and I took that very welcoming and yeah, very kind. So I didn't want to stress myself over that loss, but only to look for another opportunity. So again, came down deeper to this supply, sorry, this demand, and then inside that demand we see we range a little bit, and I felt that we could be going up. Okay, so that's when I took that trade. Okay, that's when I took that trade, and then as you can see, I think this one gave us a 3.1, which was a very good trade. But I think this one happened 10:30 all the way to New York. Yeah, this one was well built up to New York, I think afternoon hours, where it hit our take profits. But also in the, I think in the, what do you call it? In the competition, especially the funded nice competition, I was aiming to, continue with a downward move. So you can say yes, I felt a bit confused because after the break of the pennant to the downside, I felt we are going to do some little bit of pullbacks, either to this supply, as you can see, which it was touched by that week right there, and then I placed in my sell stop. Yeah, sell stop right there, came, tagged me, but still went on my opposite way, the opposite way also. So yes, coming in the next day, this was on Tuesday. Yes, this is on Tuesday. I noticed we had a change of character after price returned to this supply. Okay, when price went up, we had that supply being hit. And then we had a change of character there. And then in this change of character, I want you to notice very clearly. I don't know if it will drawn. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so it ranged a little bit, then came up, and then came down to take out this liquidity, and then came down again to take out this low, and then cause a change of character, not with the candle close, but at least there was a break to the high, and then return to that demand, and then we went up. So coming in this section now, I'd want to talk about it in the 5 minute, but just give me a minute. As you can see, price went down. This was on Wednesday. Yes, this was on Wednesday, and this was around Frankfurt. Yes, this was around Frankfurt. So London came and took the guys out. Okay, that is before, during the Asian. As you can see, this was the Asian. This was also the Asian, and then this was the Frankfurt that was now building the last liquidity, which they came and took them out. and then I took that sell stop to that point. Also, no, I think the current trade that I'm about to show you in 5 minutes was a trade that I hesitated on. Okay, I hesitated on, but what I told myself is that next time I won't hesitate. I will have to, like swallow my pride and just, accept the loss if there's going to be one. But let me just explain a little bit here about what happened. Mhm. So we had a change of character when price came up here during the Frankfurt. We had a change of character, as you can see. So price came down and then went up to take out that liquidity. So I hesitated because I felt this momentum with those two bullish candles, as you can see. I know you can't see clearly because of the movement of my cursor, but if you see very well, there was a bullish momentum right there. And then I placed a sell stop again right here, expecting at least for price to come to this demand, especially this one, 15 and 5. But I hesitated and I removed my pending order, and I just left the price to go on, waiting for New York and see if I had any opportunity. So as you can see, price really went very well. I shared it in the group, so whoever did take it, then they would have been very much okay. Yes, it didn't hit TP at that point, but this is what I do when price comes closer to my TP. I take heavy partials. So say I'm risking let's say $100 then I come and take heavy partials, and let's say this one was a 3.12, so I was expecting at least 300 to yeah 312. So that means at this point, if I take heavy partials, then that means around here we are playing about 200 and something. So yeah, heavy partials maybe is to take 80-70% and then let the rest play out, and also take back push lower your stop loss to break even, so something of the sort. But I hesitated, so I didn't take that trade. So going back to the 15-minute now to just check on the um forecast and what I'm expecting next week. So we had a break to the upside like that, and then price has tried and pulled back to the downside. I'm still contemplating on having this as my high, my swing high, but I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel okay. Let me just measure this real quick and see. This moved about 18.7 pips. Okay, that's okay. That's a good deep pullback. So I'll have this one as my last high before the previous high that is right now was formed. And also we excuse me, when we talked about the change of character on the higher time frame, we concluded or proved that that change of character on the higher time frame is a break of structure on a lower time frame. So as you can see, the 4-hour change of character is there. Okay, the return is here, and yeah, everything is just lined up very well. And now we are seeing the moves to the downside. um so what am I seeing, or what am I expecting? I placed in this virtual trade, but I didn't want to look at it because somehow I don't like it when price um, cause a change of character and then leaves a supply like this one, a zone like that, comes and ranges, goes down again, and then when they come back up, you never know if this is a supply that's going to hold, or they were just targeting liquidity from all these highs, okay, to just come and mitigate that supply, okay, and then maybe go down. So you see, all that is just a way of them building liquidity just to trap us and take us out whenever now we are not aware of what we are doing. So if you ask me now, I'll look at this as my change of character, the last one. I'll change that to 15 minutes, choke, and then we have this demand which has been mitigated very recently before they closed up the market. So this should be 15-minute POI. Okay, so I don't think it was touched because that one was a bit high. Okay, so two things. Okay, for me, This is what I'll be expecting. If I see a downward move to there, and then I get another, formation of change of character, breaking that high, and then a return, then I'll be very much involved or wanting to get involved or to the higher, to the upside. Okay, maybe to mitigate deeper this one, or maybe to take this high, okay, before we continue to the downside. Because if you check very closely, we changed direction right here. Okay, we changed direction, so that means that this one is the last high that was pulled back, so maybe it could be ready to continue with the move to the downside by breaking more of the lows and changing direction of lower highs and lower lows. So yeah, I think I didn't see so much opportunity inside Euro USD, but let us see how next week will open up or unfold, and yeah, get to look at any opportunities either to the upside or the downside. So let's jump over to USD as we also look to clear to finish up with the whole analysis. Okay, so USD as we look to finish up. Let me just place this one right there. Okay, so starting off from the weekly, we still have the down fall continuing. I think it's not drawing again. So we still have the downward move continuing, and as you can see, price has come to this supply. Okay, so it could want to hold before continuing to the downside. So that is one fact that I see on the high time frames. But in between this supply and demand, there's a lot of drama that is going on here in the lower time frame. There's a lot of noise, and yeah, you can tell of the next direction really, because if you check very clearly, yes, we have the two bullish candles, closing up the week and all that, but maybe next week we could be seeing some move to the downside. So we can never be sure, but what I think that stands out the most is this supply could hold and continue to push price to the downside. And also we have this daily demand that is still hungry for the price to come to. So yeah, anything can happen, but let's wait and see. Going into the daily, I think this the 4 hour. Let's just jump to the daily first. So going into the daily, we don't have much to see up above here, but my concentration is also around here. So let me check. Let me check. I don't know if it will draw. Okay. So had a move to the downside. Okay, price went up, came down, went up, a little bit of range, and then went down, and then went up again, and then broke structure. Now before the broke structure, they created this supply, which now push price lower to that demand that we saw in the previous videos on the high time frames analysis. So I think this was on July 1st, July. Yes, so if you can go and check on that one and yeah, verify. So we had a return again to that supply, remember, and then inside that supply we see that price was pushed down again to that kind of demand. Yes, it was mitigated by this candle and this candle, but they just wanted to go deeper to take out more liquidity before continuing to the upside, because as you can see, we had another supply here that we talked of before the break of this structure, where price came in and touched. So I want you to notice something that I'm seeing right now is that we had a move to the upside, then we had pullback with that inside bar. And I want to tell you something. Most of the inside bars that you see in your trading view charts are pullbacks. Never forget about that, because if you check very closely, this one was a pullback from this high, this one was a pullback from this high, this one was a pullback from this high, because this one, okay, its wick didn't break the previous candle's wick. Okay, I've given you this example so that you can see on how relative highs and lows can really relate. And also with this one, if you go and check in your chart, you'll see there was this candle, the low didn't break this one, so meaning that they pulled back a little bit before, breaking or continuing to the downside. So also this one was my pullback, and then we move to the upside to take out that high and that high, and then move to the downside. So now we've caused a change of character. Okay, now we've caused a change of character, and then after the change of character, we see the return to that supply. So what is happening is right now it's a little bit of an intricate kind of structure where price is just ranging. So coming in next week, um, if you ask me, I'm expecting price to just continue to go down. Yeah, I'm expecting price to continue to go down, and also with the USD, I'm expecting for it to go up. Okay, because that pullback that is starting from Euro USD, we might not know. Maybe it wants to go down, but for me, I see it going up, and with the USD CHF, I'm seeing it continue to the downside. So anything still can happen, and maybe you don't know. Maybe with these two candles, we could be also building that momentum to the upside for the guys to continue to buy. Okay, and also let's not forget we have a change of character here on the daily, and then maybe we could be looking okay, we could be also be looking for a little bit of pullback to either this demand before maybe we before they officially move to the upside as expected. So even if they move to the upside, then I'll be expecting this high to get taken out, because I don't see any kind of supply around here that I'll be expecting to touch and reverse something of the sort. So that's just the daily. Let's now look at the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, yeah, so the 4 hour, we see we had a change of character right here. I don't know why it's not full. Right there, had a change of character. Price did range before they broke to the upside and then came down. Okay, I think this was a Trump candle and stuff. I think this is the analysis line, so let's remove that one also. And then we had a break to the downside only to mitigate this demand and also take out all these relative lows that were there. And then again, we had moved to the upside, then came down to take out this low, and then short to the upside. So now we want to do the tracing and see where they could have left a loophole. Had a pullback here, mitigation to this supply, then demand, and then flip now to the upside. Okay, continue with the trend. They touched that supply, a little bit of pullback, but that wasn't the case. They just wanted to continue to the upside, as you can see, and then we continue to the upside just like that. So again, okay, so 4 hour on the USD Swiss franc. Now, apologies for my video. I think audio went off, so I had to charge my apparatus again. And yeah, now we're back live. So where was I? Right here, where we had, okay, where we had the low. Then all this range was just to build liquidity, especially on the buy side. And then after enough of the range, we saw that we had the push to the upside, and then that pushed higher again, had another change of character, but also pushed higher again, and then another change of character was built around here. So after that, now we see that price pulled back again lower to that demand. Okay, and then it changed direction, but before it did that, we see a little bit of some range, and then liquidity taken right there for this low and this low, and then they switch direction from there. So again, pull back to this demand, and then up again to that supply. So here nothing much happened. So it was just a way of inducing people, sorry, traders, which automatically they were also building more liquidity, especially around this high. Okay, so they pull back again and then short to the upside to mitigate that daily buy to sell range, and also to see how they can reach on this 4 hour supply that was up here. So we see a couple of pullbacks here in this range, like this one. Okay, the one to the downside, that was a pullback, so all the way down to here, and then we will go up and then we come down to here, and then go up, and then down, and then come up, and then down. Okay, I hope you're following. And then now we go up to that high to only target these highs. Okay, and then the push to the downside, I think this was the NFP. That's when now we see price broke this last low. Okay, after this high. So this last low was broken, causing change of character. And then we had a move to the downside, then up, then came down lower. And then when we went up, we broke that high. So meaning now we have another bullish change of character. So all this is a pullback like this one. And then this one came up and then pulled back again with this candle, the doji, like that, and then went up, and then we range a little bit here before we broke to the downside. There was a wick, but we also confirmed that we have a candle close below that last low, so meaning now we have a change of character of the bearish. So right now price is ranging, okay, because we expect at least price to come back to this supply and maybe giving us a signal of moving down lower. But if you check very closely, we also still have the supply that has not been mitigated. So maybe this could be a change of character to induce guys to sell, okay, only for them to come and take them out, and then boom, maybe they continue to the downside. Because if you check also, we have this push to the upside, which actually left some void, and then they could be wanting to come here before maybe continuing to the upside. Now, before we concentrate on the direction, we need to also remind ourselves of what is going on in the daily. So as you can see, price is right around here. Price is around here. So maybe they could be pushing down from there and continue to the downside. Because like we said, we had a pullback with this inside bar right here. So there's a change of character here. Price pulled back with this wick, okay, to touch the supply and then move lower. So this downward move and then upward could be just to induce guys to buy, especially with this candle and this candle, only maybe to come and take them out and mitigate this demand, or maybe push lower to maybe also continue to break the last law of the swing structure on the daily. So maybe we could see a break of the trend line like I've just drawn right now, like you, the from the trend line that you see. They could break it and then continue to the downside, or they could come here first, or maybe here, because also this one wasn't touched. If you check very well from your charts, you will see even comparing the pips, okay, the pips in between the high here and the low of the start of the supply. You can check there's a little bit of a gap that was left. So maybe they could come all the way up to this supply and then yeah, look to turn back with the direction to the downside from that upside move. So let's now move on to the real deal 15-minute, where I normally take my trade. So I'll start off from the NFP. And I'll try and explain some few things. So we had a change of character here. I'll try and move faster, and I mark this as my high. Okay, so after we moved up again, we see that we're just building liquidity, where they came and took the guys out, the sell side, and then continue to the upside. So right here we have a pullback, and then we have a change of character, then we have another return. Now I want you to notice something. The return only came to this buy to sell range, okay, where you see it has been touched, okay, only to induce guys to continue selling. Remember, they are also trying to see how they can trap people. So for those who do fair value gaps, I have nothing against you, but to be honest, you don't make sense to me. But sorry, the what do you call it, fair value gap doesn't make sense to me. For me, it's just liquidity kind of trap, okay, formation. So we see price coming back to this supply, this demand, but it didn't actually touch. We came up again. As you can see now, they are building, okay, they are building the buy side, is it sell side liquidity, okay, they're building sell side liquidity, which push price up, okay. And then we had a change of character here. Now this is the trade that I hesitated on. Okay, because when they came up like that, after breaking my internal breakout structure, we see that price came down. No, I actually took this trade, but I didn't take profits, or I didn't take the partials. Okay, so let me try and zoom in on that. Let me try and zoom in on that before we continue. Okay, let me try and zoom in on that. Okay, so came down. I didn't take my profit, so price went up again. I was actually hoping to have at least, a second trade here so we can continue down together, but that didn't happen. So price just came up. I'm really not sure if I took partials, but price went up and yeah, took me out. Okay, so moving on to what happened during the week. I think now this is on Tuesday. On Monday I'm never around, so Tuesday I noticed that we had this move to the downside. Let me see, where did Tuesday end? Right here. Yeah, so on Tuesday I didn't have anything to see. There was nothing to be engaged with, but I noticed on Wednesday, coming in on Wednesday, we had this change of character here, and yeah, that's uh, that's when I just left. Actually, I hesitated on this one. I didn't take it because after the change of character, we see the price came and took this low, also to target also that these other lows, okay, like that. And I think this was around Frankfurt Open, as you can see down there, 6:30. So in Kenya, we can say that's around 9 a.m. And yeah, so from there I hesitated to actually take a trade from here, and then I just left price, to play out like that, coming to mitigate. And also I noticed that there was this triangle that was actually broken. Okay, so when price got to here, now this is when I got involved and took that trade. It was very, very nice to that side. I think this was 5 or 3.65. It was a very nice trade, and I also shared it in the group. So let me just explain what happened there. So after the mitigation to this supply, as you can see, price turned around there. Now, if you are an SMC trader and you're looking for change of character, you can see very well in the 15-minute we didn't have one. So what happens is when price gets to your supply like that, okay, and you're hoping to maybe continue or see price go down to come and mitigate either this area after the change of character and liquidity taken, meaning that this is a void, and also a demand that that is hungry for price to come and mitigate and maybe continue to the upside from there. But you see, for this case, that didn't happen. But if price comes to your zone like that, you come to the 5 minute. Okay, so let's see if we can get to check on that real quick. I think this was on Wednesday right here. Okay, so if you don't get a change of character in the 15-minute, but price has come back to your zone, you can also come to the lower time frames. Okay, you can also come to the lower time frames and see if you can get any opportunity. So let us check on this opportunity that we would have had. Okay, so as you can see, we had a change of character. So boom, boom, back to this supply. Put your entry or maybe sell stop. Okay, and then price came down very well to my TP, giving me 3.65 R. So also I felt in me that with this change of character, remember this change of character on the 15-minute and the liquidity taken away, I drew this, what do you call it, the demand, and then price came in there. So I was hoping maybe from there we would bounce back. You know the rules of a triangle, when it breaks, it does the return, and then we continue with that direction. Then that is what I felt would have happened. But as much as I wanted to react with it, but that wasn't the case. As you can see from this trade, yes, it did happen to tag me, but it was a loss. It was a loss, and I accepted it. So as much as I had a 3.65, here I had a loss. So that means I came down, back down to close with a 2.65 R during the day, especially in New York. So what happened next is price came back and it came back to this supply of the 15 minute, and as you can see it touched there. But I didn't want to get involved in this one. I gave the guys and I told them yes, we could sell from there, so anyone who's interested in that trade, they can take it. And as you can see, price came down very well, broke my eyeballs, and then came up. Okay, but this eyeballs from the 15 minute, it wasn't broken by the candle close. So as much as it went down, it still came up to mitigate here. Now, what did actually happen right here? We see that we had this pullback of this doji, and then when price shot up, came down to break that low, which now that low now stands out to be our change of character on the 5 minutes. So as you can see, you see how now all the drama is happening in the 15-minute zone. Okay, so when it's happening in the 15-minute zone, you go to the lower time frames to look for other zones to see where it had not been mitigated, and then take advantage of that. So what happened? Price did that, came back up to mitigate now the supply that was left, and then came back down. So when it came back down here, I told guys, take partials as much as it's close to your TP and it has not hit. Take partials around there, maybe trail your stop loss to there, and yeah, secure some profits. So when price came up, now I was interested. I wanted to know what next can price do. So that's when I realized we had this void and we could be filling it very soon. Okay, so yes, we had a pullback right there. Price went down, came back to mitigate that pullback, then came down like that. Okay, then mitigated that supply. So in this supply, that's when I took my trade, and then yeah, I drove it down. Sorry, I witnessed it going into profit, but it didn't hit my TP. So what I did instead, I think with this one I got taken out at break even. Okay, so that's when now I see price continuing and also coming back to hit my TP as much as I was already stopped out. So you can tell on how all the dramas really do unfold, and how also smart money concept really puts everything together before your eyes. So if you're not really keen, you might miss on those kind of opportunities, because with this one should have taken what do you call it, taken heavy partials, but that didn't happen. So yeah, price came back up to my entry and took me out, I think, on break even. And at this time, this was around 1845, so meaning it's around New York, same one, midday around noonish. So meaning for us is about 8 9 p.m. So at this time, I think I was having dinner with my family. So that's when now I just left the price. I just left the trade to now continue on its own. And as you can see, evidently that did happen. Yeah, got to stop out at break even. So next up, what do we see? We have this breakout structure to the upside. We have come back to the 15-minute. Okay. So have that break. Let's now explain what happened here. Now we have this pullback, okay, low, and then cause a change of character by the break to the upside, and then came down to create this demand, okay, and then price went up, then came down now to mitigate that demand, and then price shot up to mitigate that supply. So from this point now, we see that price came to that supply again, and then came down to only build. You see how now it's building more liquidity, because for this one, this is, I think, triple bottom. Okay, triple bottom, and then price came up to mitigate that supply, and then now we went up. Now notice one thing, we are playing between that high and this low. We had a change of character here, so this one is a void because price didn't actually mitigate this section of the zone. And also in that zone, this low didn't touch this previous demand. So you see how now they are building more and more liquidity, because if you check very well, we had a change of character here, and then price changed direction to the upside, okay, like that. So meaning all these lows are also liquidity. So you just have to be very, very cognizant of these areas. Also here we see we left a double bottom, excuse me, and then here we left a double top, came down. I think this one, yeah, this one, yeah, this candle took out this guy's liquidity and then shot to the upside. So until this point now, I remembered we have this and we could be coming down to mitigate it. So I had this trade on, and yeah, I let it play out during the London and also the New York Open. But if you check very closely, our price went up. I actually wasn't around, but I was checking on my phone to see where or which level I was at. And when I got to here, I said, you know what, let me just pull it down and then put it at break even. So I think my break even was around here because this entry, I got it in the 1 minute. I'll show you just in a minute. So my trailing stop loss was here, which was below the break even, and then price went up, okay, to take me out, and maybe it signal again to wanting to continue to the downside. So if you check from most of your sites, depending on your broker, where price has closed right now, there was a very big, very huge spread gap that they left. So at this point, I was already out. I already accepted the losses and the profits and the break evens, the results that I have for the week, and yeah, I let that go. But what I see is as much as all this drama happened right here, I also see that we had a pullback here, and for now, price has broken it this low. So meaning we have another bearish change of character. So maybe we could have this return to that supply and then now come down to take these guys before continuing possibly with the trend that we are actually looking at from the higher time frames. So those are just kind of those are just ways to check on how you identify your levels, and also get to see what you could be missing. So let's just check on the overall trend of this 15 minutes so that we understand. So what I see here is I see so much of drama and also ranging areas. You see that this is all just a range. Okay, so if you ask me, number one, I'd love to see how price will react from this demand or maybe this demand, okay, only for them maybe to change direction from there to the upside. Because if you check very closely, I noticed that we have moved to the downside like that and then to the upside. So meaning now we have changed direction to an uptrend. So coming down, as you can see, between that high and this low, we have already come to the discount area. So maybe this could be a way to just induce guys to continue to the upside, because we left few areas of supply here that are not being touched, especially the buy to sell and also this extreme supply. So this is also a target. So we could do this. Okay, let's just say the big guys, they could do that and then do that, okay, coming in next week. So if he does that, I'd love to get involved maybe from here, if I check on all my confluences matching up, or maybe come to here and see if all confluences matching up. Now if it does come to here like that, then that means we'll be changing direction to the downside, because also at this section we see that they had already pulled back fairly to the premium side, above the 50% equilibrium. So anything can happen coming in next week. So let's just wait and see what will unfold. But aside from that, that's just the analysis for the week. If you want us to trade together, let me know. If you want me to, take you through, give you depth insight of what actually happens, let me know also in my Telegram. I'll leave my link there, and yeah, you can hit me up anytime. So that's just it for today and this week. Let's just wait for next week and see what will happen. So have a nice week, have a nice weekend, and yeah, God bless you. I hope you took some value from my analysis. Don't forget to show your brother some support down there on the description box. And aside from that, I don't have much, but to wish you the best, and God bless you.